Yes.
Okay, so I see it's 12 o'clock, so I'm going to get started. Hi, I'm Ed Levin, Director of the Duke Center on Addiction and Behavior Change, and welcome to our seminar series, Spring 2022. So we started last week, and we're continuing this week. Before I introduce today's speaker, I just wanted to kind of look ahead a little bit. So we're going to continue as usual a couple times a month, more or less. And the next one is in 2 weeks, on February 9th. Paolo Manelli, a doctor here at Duke, is going to be talking about his clinical work in terms of from bench to bedside, the computer screen, in terms of treating drug addiction. And then I just wanted to highlight February 22nd is our symposium on the marijuana. This is together with Wanda Boone. Dr. Wanda Boone and her group, TRI, is a dorm community action group to combat drug addiction and drug abuse. And this is on marijuana, brain science, and community impact for risk prevention with legalization. So please do register for that. It's free, as are all of our seminars, but we do like to keep it a list of the folks who are attending, and then we can have that for further mailing lists and so forth. Then we'll continue with Linda Perino from Wake Forest later in the semester, Byron Jones from Tennessee, Reggie Kennedy from NCA&T, Emily Rissman from NC State, and then finally, we're going to have co-sponsoring with the Duke Center a study of adolescent risk and resilience, Dr. Nisha Gofferson from UNC Chapel Hill. And then, so now it's my honor and privilege to introduce today's two speakers, and that's Alicia Mclaughlin and Demitrius Flint, both from TROSA, and both graduates of the program and on the staff. And Alicia is the annual gifts manager, and Demitrius works in the men's program. So they're going to give us a view of TROSA and its activities and history and the current practices and future. And then there'll be some time for hearing their personal experiences, as well as time for discussion. So Alicia, you're going to start?
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you, and thank you for coming. It's still a little cold outside, but hopefully no more ice for a minute. And I just want to add, Demetrius, if I miss something, please chime in and keep me straight.
I got you.
Okay. So here we are. Everyone can see my screen. Is everyone seeing Welcome to TROSA? Okay, so yeah. Those are some smiling faces. Those are some of our staff here at TROSA. And so in 2022, we're celebrating 28 years of helping people and saving lives. And so we're super proud of that. And so what is TROSA? It's a licensed, evidence-based, long-term residential recovery program that was founded in 1994 with only 13 residents. And during this last fiscal year, we served 756 men and women. And before I move on to our services, I just want to talk a little bit about Kevin Mcdonald. He's the founder. He is the original CEO of TROSA, and he was the pioneer who started this all. And he is just, anybody that knows Kevin, he has an energy that is indescribable and it's just contagious. Like even when I go visit him now, and you're in that same space with him, like it just kind of transfers onto you. And then I leave and I feel like, like I've got it recharged and I'm ready to start, getting back in there again. So Kevin is a special human being that has made such an impact on so many lives. And, I just love him dearly. So he actually was facing 20 years in 1979 in San Francisco. He was, using heroin. He was a heroin addict, substance use disorder, as we now call it. And he was facing 20 years. He went to court, and they actually had a reversal on his sentence, and he was able to go to a program called Delancey Street in San Francisco, where he spent 12 years rebuilding his life. And so Delancey Street is a therapeutic community. However, it's not modified like TROSA. TROSA at Delancey Street, it's more just basic services, and where we're more holistic and wraparound services. And so Kevin, struggling with mental health challenges, he decided that it needed to be more, right? Therapeutic community needed to include more services than just, somewhere to sleep and something to eat and the vocational training. So that's when he added in the mental health and counseling and psychiatric services. And with Duke's help, we've been able to do that. So that's a little bit about Kevin. Kevin is now, he's consulting for TROSA. He's in retirement kind of phase. And Keith Arton is our present CEO. And Keith has been with TROSA he has been with TROSA in one way or another, in some form for probably about 15 years or more. And so when the decision came to think of who could take over, he was the best candidate, and the board agreed with that. So Keith has done an excellent job taking over and running TROSA, especially during the past 2 years, which has been very challenging. So we're really happy with that. So the TROSA services are provided at no cost to the individual. And I'm going to say that again, it's free. And so that's one of the most amazing things about us. And what we include is everything: housing, food, clothing, daily needs, healthcare, mental health services, vocational and life skills training, and continuing care for graduates, including housing, transportation, and support. And so when I say vocational and life skills training, so for me, I had jobs, but I didn't know how to live. So I could go to work and I could do what people told me to do. That was the easy part. But actually being a functioning, human being, as far as being responsible and being honest and taking care of things the right way, was where I struggled. So this part of the program really helped me. And so how is TROSA unique? Again, we're cost-free. You do not need insurance. You do not need your parents to break out their, American Express. All the essential needs are provided. We're a multi-year program. So individuals, they do graduate at 2 years. However, we call ourselves multi-year because it doesn't stop there. Whether you're a graduate who decides to go on workout, or you're a graduate who decides to stay and be a part of TROSA, it can be as long as you want it to be. And so we continue to supply the housing, meals, transportation, and support groups for the individuals, as long as they're under our umbrella and living in our housing. We also have mental health services. We have licensed counselors that provide services to our residents. And we also have volunteers from Duke, which I'm going to get to our partnerships on down the line, but they play a big part in what we do. So the program emphasis is on learning new healthy behaviors and life skills for sustained recovery. And what you're gaining is a community of friends and supporters. It is a family. Okay, and so what we're seeing is that the primary drugs of addiction for the last year, heroin and opiates. is the big one. And I think that in your studies, you have probably already know that information. And so here we just broke it down for, crack cocaine, alcohol, methamphetamines, and then other. And so 67% of TROSA residents reported multiple drugs of addiction, which I'm one of those individuals when I was in the program. So there's a nice picture of me and my kids. If it weren't for TROSA, I wouldn't be here today. And I don't say that as a cliche. I say that as a matter of fact, because it is true. My kids have a mother who is now fully present in their lives, and they are amazing. And you can rebuild and be who you were meant to be. And that's, to me, it's such a statement, because I knew I had potential. I just didn't know how to tap into it. And so TROSA showed me how to do that. And my daughter is a sophomore at App State, and my son just finished a program at Durham Tech and is now a full-time employee at a company in Burlington. He's doing electrical lineman work. And he just said that he wants to save money, wants to make money. He wants to buy a house and get a car and a dog. So he wants just, to be wholesome is what he says. So ways we serve. We serve over 400,000 meals, over 9,000 medical visits. 58 residents took their GED classes. Nearly 400 residents received one-on-one counseling or psychiatric appointments, supplementing daily therapeutic care. 113 received their driver's license. And what we have is over 148 days of stable, safe, sober housing. And I can't emphasize that enough, is over 148,000 days of stable, safe, sober housing, because for individuals who suffer from substance use disorder, having stability, safety, and sober surroundings is crucial, because that's how you get from your first baby steps to your maybe walking a mile. So here's the importance of long-term treatment that we have. The numbers are for the U.S. The median length of stay in long-term treatment is 39 days. At TROSA, it's 407. So I'd say we've got that pretty much beat. Short-term completion rate for 30 days or less in the U.S. is 53%. Here at TROSA, 74%. And so what that says is that not everybody completes TROSA, but that doesn't mean that they don't walk away with some type of asset. They may remain in recovery, and we're happy about that. So it doesn't always mean that just because they didn't complete and graduate that they did not gain something from being in the program.
Alicia?
Yes.
Can you go back to that one for clarification? Does that mean that 74% stay at TROSA at least 30 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And who we serve, 86% are uninsured or without Medicaid. So that you can see how important it is that we are at no cost, because a lot of people do not have the resources that's needed for programs that cost money. 87% have been incarcerated. 65 have had a felony record or have one. 24% have no high school diploma or GED. And that's where education plays also an important role, I would say, between the vocational training and the education. Those are two things that we're really pushing on, because we want individuals to have that when they leave the program. So at 6 months, it is mandatory for individuals to enroll in our GED program if they don't have it already. 46% report being homeless prior to TROSA and or anticipate homelessness if not accepted into the TROSA program. So we serve all of North Carolina and the US, as you see here, the breakdown. So the mountain region is around 41 residents, the triangle region 108, and then the coastal is our biggest provider, where we provide services. That's where the most people live, and that's where they come from to TROSA, and then the Piedmont region. So other states are 104 residents, and that's, from coast to coast and we even serve individuals from outside the US. We've had people come from, Puerto Rico, and I can't remember the other country, but it's definitely happened once in a lifetime. So our behavior change model, it's connection, responsibility equals behavior change, which then results into a better life. So internship is the first phase. That's from the time you walk in the door until 30 days. And that's where individuals are just getting acclimated with the program, familiar with, what we do and how we do and our rules and things like that. And then freshman is from 30 days to 6 months. And a freshman they're beginning to see how our motto, each one teach one, plays into the role at TROSA. So at that point, they may be a shadow, a mentor. They're going to start looking into maybe being a leader in the program. And so then from 6 months to 21 months, individuals are residents. Residents are individuals who are definitely going to have some type of leadership position in the house, some kind of house responsibility. They may give out toiletries in the evening. They may be assigned as a leader, so they read mail or they supervise phone calls. That's very encouraged here is to, step out of your comfort zone and see, what kind of tasks you can be a part of and how you can help the younger residents in the program. So we have workout, which means that at 21 months, individuals can go into the Durham community and seek employment. We have a very good turnover there. We have a lot of companies and organizations in the area who love to hire TROSA individuals. And so from 21 to 24 months, that's when they would be in the continuing care department, as far as, housing and supplies and things like that. They're still able to come to TROSA for meals, and they're still able to be a part of support groups and counseling. And we highly encourage them to come back on campus. So the younger residents can see, what does a graduate look like? Senior residents is when someone is not ready to go out into community, but they do want to stay a part of the program. And that's when they just, they move into a role that's more mentor, role model. They're still, in their community assignment, and they have house responsibilities. And they're more of a leader in the community, and we expect them to, demonstrate the most of role modeling that they can. So at 21 months last year, nearly 50% of residents chose to continue TROSA's program as a senior resident, and 50% chose our workout track. So what that says to me is that there's options, and that people are taking both of those options. Either way, they are having opportunities that they probably have never had before. Our graduate outcomes, 96% obtained employment by graduation, and 96 maintained recovery 1 year after graduation. And 91% remained employed 1 year after graduation. 98 had no new criminal convictions within 1 year of graduation. So that's 2%. That's a really good number right there. And I'm really proud of that. So if individuals have not recidivized after 1 year of graduation, that's something to celebrate. So there was a study done by RTI in 2017, and we're still super proud of that. So we still advertise is that TROSA saves North Carolina at least $7.4 million each year by preventing arrest, incarceration, and emergency hospital visits. So what if we had one in every state? Like, could you imagine? Well, every county, that is. So our clinical partnerships, Duke is a huge partner for us, and we've always been extremely grateful for that. And what that entails is the contracts for supervising physicians, a nurse practitioner, and 2 physician assistants. Duke provides on-site OB/GYN clinic, on-site physical therapy, psychiatric medication management and care, and weekly evening clinic staffed by Duke medical volunteers and other specialty care. And we just can't thank those individuals enough for volunteering their time and helping, TROSA be successful and helping the residents with their medical needs. We also have partnership with Labcorp, especially with COVID. We've probably been paying the light bill. So Alliance of AIDS Services. So we have hepatitis C testing and STI testing that happens within the 30 days of an individual entering our program. And then there's multiple independent medical and dental providers who volunteer their services in the community. And that's also, a lot of people come in here and they have not taken care of their teeth. They haven't taken care of their eyes. They just, they haven't, their basic needs weren't met. So unfortunately, medical and dental was not something that was at their forefront of responsibility. And so we're very grateful that individuals are able to get their smile back or be able to read a book for the first time in a long time. Education, again, it's a very big part of our program. We have Durham Tech partnership that helps with our GE classes and tutoring, computer classes, ServSave, and individual college classes. Individuals can also get their grounds maintenance certification for lawn care. So that can be a stepping stone for them whenever they go out to get employment. Our continuing care department, they provide transportation to and from work, low-cost housing, relapse prevention groups, of course, free hot meals. So we provide furniture for graduates to move into their new apartment or house. There's no charge. We fully furnish their housing for nothing, and that's included in just being a graduate and completing the program. And then we also will give them a car for a small fee of maybe $100, $500. It's very small if there was like something that needed to be fixed on the car, and that's as available because sometimes there's a shortage of donated cars, but we do as much as we can. Some of our community assignments are listed here: moving, construction, office administration, auto truck repair, retail and sales, picture framing. So as you can see, there's a gamut of things that individuals can train in, and how we decide is we have a community a group of staff that get together and they discuss, which resident's going to go to which department, and it's the decision is made out of need and also what we think the resident needs for their success. So our annual budget is somewhere around 22 million, which is it sounds like a lot, but actually, for what we're doing, it's kind of low as far as I'm concerned. So we have our social enterprises, which are the majority. Social enterprises and donated goods are the majority of our sources of revenue, and those are moving services, lawn care services. We have a thrift store. We also have Christmas trees that we have lots that we set up every year. And yeah, so those are social enterprise, and that's 56%. Individual contributions and grants around 14%, and then government funding is around 29%. And the use of the funds, direct services, 91%, and then administration is 5%, and fundraising is 4%. We opened our TROSA Comprehensive Care Center in 2017, and this building serves as our campus medical, counseling, and admissions department. And so there you can see our waiting room, and we have our exam rooms. They look like an exam room that you would see at a Duke provider. It's, very, we're very, very proud of that, because it was a long time coming. We were operating out of a very small building, and now this is something that is comfortable and roomy and just, nice to be in. So our expansion in North Carolina, we have looked at, based on 25 years, 28 years of experience, we believe further growth in Durham is not sustainable. So using a satellite campus approach, we can keep certain operational and overhead costs down for the new campus, making it more sustainable long term. We want to serve at least 100 individuals in the first few years, with future expansion to increase capacity to 200 if possible. We selected the triad for several reasons, including the proximity to Durham, the excellent potential for healthcare and higher education partners, and then the historically triad region, including Forsyth and neighboring Guilford counties, have been among our most served counties. And so we had the groundbreaking in April, and we're hoping to, the plan is to open this year, and the proposed cost of the first 3 years of operation is at $20 million. And that's the plan for the layout of the program, which is a little similar to, what we have here on our campus. So this is Jerry. He is got the best smile ever, and he is, one of the individuals that we like to show as an example of what a happy person looks like in recovery. And it was the best decision he ever made, and he has taught him the value of life all over again. And when he's smiling for a reason, because he has his life back. So I'm going to just do a quick virtual tour of the campus since you can't be here in person. I just want to show you so you can get a feel of what it looks like. So this is our the campus. On the left side is basically, it's about 13 acres is what we have the main campus on. And then across the street, we've added some housing. So this is what resident housing on our main campus looks like. This is the new housing for the female residents that we have just completed phase 1 of the multi-phase campus expansion project across the street. So phase 1 included building 2 residential buildings for 60 female residents. And the future plan is we're going to build a community center and new resident housing for our female residents and graduates. And this will promote a more cohesive therapeutic community, and it will ease the complexity of transportation logistics, promote greater efficiency and more time providing direct services. This is our campus cafeteria, where all of the 400,000 meals happen. And that's our, we have a coffee bar and, sweet shop. So that's one of our graduates there. Here's our gym. Our gym was a very important asset to the TROSA campus. The floor was donated by Duke. So we're very appreciated. I'm very appreciative to Duke. And something that we haven't done in a couple of years because of the pandemic was to have Duke's volleyball team. We're very close with Jolene Nagel, and she has brought the Duke volleyball team here for years and years to do a volleyball clinic with our residents, and they absolutely love that experience. They get to learn how to spike a ball with a famous Duke volleyball player. This is our automotive department. We have over, I think, about 300 vehicles on our fleet, which includes our moving trucks, lawn care vehicles, our 15 passenger vans for transporting residents. And it's just a small staff of about 5 individuals, including 3 staff, maybe 4, I can't remember exactly. But it's a small group, and they keep everything running and in shape for us. Our TROSA thrift store is over 100,000 square feet of everything that you could ever imagine. We have couches, we have chairs, we have clothes, we have, they just had a gamut of things over the years, and it's always fun to go in there and see what's new. I've also heard a lot of collector's items have come out of there. So resident housing, T North, this was also one of our, this is our facility where our men are housed when they first come into the program. And so it is downtown. Here's some of our graduate housing. And thank you. This concludes the virtual tour. So I'm going, in lieu of time, I'm just going to pass this right on over to Demetrius, and go Demetrius.
Hey guys, I'm Demetrius. I've been here in the program for 32 months. I currently work in the men's program, but I have worked in other various departments like continuing care, lawn care. Short description of my life before coming here. I'm the oldest son of 3. I have an older sister, but I'm the oldest son. Grew up with just a single parent. My dad was never around. So I grew up with my mom working hard. She worked hard for us. And so just moving forward with it, I had a few traumatic events that I look back now at where I didn't know how to deal with or connect with myself as far as emotionally capable of coping with it. So that led to a few decisions on my part where I chose to use substances rather than a more healthy way of dealing with it. So my addiction started at 13 years old with crystal meth in the state of Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm sorry, I said that twice, but
It's okay.
So that I used that for a period of like 3 or 4 years until there was a part of my life where I was incarcerated in a juvenile detention center and into a wilderness camp. Where I still then didn't know how to deal with my emotions and just shut down. I shut down a lot when I was growing up, and so eventually I was able to get out of that environment by asking my mom to move out to go back to her, and because I was living it with my dad at the time because of my juvenile delinquency growing up. She kicked me to my dad's. And that's where I started using crystal meth. Okay, so I was able to get out of that environment by calling my mother and moving to where she was at, and I was able to sustain a little bit of recovery because I was smoking weed and drinking and stuff. But it wasn't up until I had a fallout with a girlfriend where I just wasn't able to deal with it. And I chose to use opiates or pain medication, which then turned into a heroin addiction where I used from snorting it to shooting it up. Okay, and that's all the way up to, I've shot past to 24. I'm like 24, 25 now. Okay, and what happens is I one day I get in trouble with the law where there's a serious drug charge put on me for trafficking heroin in the state here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've never been to prison, and this is a sentence that usually sends you to prison. And so I chose to sit in jail for a while until they let me gave me an opportunity to either, what they call the program called substantial assistance. So that's like me providing information about another drug dealer in the community, where they might be more lenient about where I go, or if I go to prison, or maybe a treatment facility. So it took me a while to make that decision because of my lifestyle and my belief system, was highly toxic, but I was able to make a healthy decision because for one thing, I didn't want to go to prison. Another thing, I did want something different, right? So I did that, and I had applied to TROSA while I was sitting in Wake County Jail, and they accepted me. Another crucial part about this before coming to TROSA is that I was able to get out of Wake County Jail on probation, and in the event to come here to TROSA, but with my distorted thinking and years of addiction and my mindset and everything, I chose to use again, which then the repercussions of that is that I OD'd and almost couldn't be sitting here today. It took like 6 Narcan shots to bring me out, and it was it was a life-changing, and like I said, I could almost not be here today standing with you. So it was a huge motivator for me to actually come to TROSA. And I was able to get to TROSA, and all my life I knew I had like this deep thinking and analytical mind where I just really process things and try to look at things in a different way, or how it could help me, or things like that. So I was able to kind of understand what TROSA was about really from the beginning, because of the comprehensive intern classes that they teach you when you first come here, and just they're very the whole intern program is very, very hands-on and direct, so they really want you to understand what this place is about. So I'm thankful for that, because it really made it easier for me to transition into a program. My first treatment facility ever. I've never been to a treatment facility, and so it was really cool that I was able to see that in the beginning. So I grabbed the bull by its horns, and I first did the internship, and then I went to lawn care as my community assignment or vocational training, and I got to be a part of that group, which is, I like to shout out to Steve Hill. Steve Hill has got a very deep connection with Duke, and we got to do a lot of different things with Duke, which really encouraged and empowered me, because I never thought I would be able to see the stadium at Duke, because Duke has been also one of my favorite teams. And also I had hopes to go there one day, but at least I got to see it from this side of, so got to do a lot of different things with Duke, as far as cleanups and, seeing the football stadium, the basketball stadium. So I did that for about 9 months. I did it for 9 months, but I was being looked at by the men's program at 4 months. I started house leadership at 2.5 months. And so I had to go through the process of transitioning to a different community assignment. Men's program is where you work in the house and in a second shift from 3 to 12, where you deal with house matters as far as behaviors that we need to address, or rule violations. Also being a listener to the residents and their needs, and just, all around everything that pertains to when you're not at home. When you're not at work, what you do at home. And so I really dove into that. It's what really where I found myself, and who I am today is being part of that side of the program. So I did that men's program until, let's see, what was it, Alicia, 21 months. And then I went to continuing care, which is another I'm grateful for, because continuing care I like to add is what sets us apart from other treatment facilities because of the comprehensive and progressive approach to how we deal with people trying to transition back into the community. I often hear sometimes where people don't know what to do after they leave a treatment facility. Well, here at TROSA, you never have to leave. You're always connected, and as long as you're in good standings and you follow the rules and you do what's asked of you and things like that. So it was great for me to see that side because I got to see the whole picture and how it works here. When we went to go, when we were talking about the services we provide, that little list there is just a minute scale of what we do here. It's you go to financial services and understanding how or doing taxes for individuals, divorce proceedings, legal matters, anything you can really think of and you could put on a piece of paper and ask to be done, you can probably get it done. Just takes time and it's an effort and process. And we just have a great staff. The staff here and their system and the admin staff are they really take their time and really look at everything. So, so I did continuing care. It was awesome. And then, I became a graduate in May 24, 2021. And then I went to, there was a position available in men's program for staff and training. And what that is a senior resident side, what Alicia was talking about. So I continued to stay on as a senior resident, and then a staff and training position became available and I applied for it. And then I was able to, they gave me the opportunity and I was accepted as a staff and training on September 1st, 2021. And how that goes is that hopefully within a year's time from September 1st, if I, conduct myself and continue to grow and be a part of this community and be a role model and do what's asked and just keep growing, that by September 1st, 2022, I'll hopefully be a staff member here at TROSA. Just a little short summary. I'm 33 years old. I've, been in and out addiction for 13, 15 years. TROSA has really changed my life and really provided the opportunity for me to look at my life and really hone in on my skills, understand my weaknesses, and find purpose. Education is important to me today. When you showed that class or that first seminar, when you're talking about neurotransmitters, I'm doing a general psychology class right now that I start in March for a mini session at Wake Tech. So I wish I seen that class as well, or that seminar. But so yeah, that sums it up. I just wanted to keep it short because I know there's a discussion, but yeah, I adore and love TROSA, and I hopefully will be a part of this place for a very long time. And yeah, all right.
Thank you, Demetrius.
You're welcome.
So I know that we're, getting close on time, and I want to save some room for discussion. And so, Walter, if we can just save questions, we're going to have time for that. I'm going to go real quick and tell my story, and then we'll have room for questions and discussion. So my story is kind of similar to Demetrius's. All of our stories here at TROSA, they have some similarities and some differences. But for a lot of people, there was trauma at a young age. And I know y'all are familiar with the ACEs. And so there's, I score very high on the ACEs survey. And so what that means is that I was raised by a mom who was suffering from severe mental health and drug addiction, substance use disorder. So when I was like 6 and 7, my mom, how she made money, we call it, how did she do her hustle? So she stole goods from the stores, and then she would resell them. She wrote bad checks. She was either in jail or in psychiatric hospitals for most of my childhood. I actually found her when she was attempting suicide when I was 9. And so all of these things were very traumatizing to me. But as a child, I did not realize the effect that they were going to have. And I definitely did not have any coping skills. my coping skill was anger. I was very angry, especially when I would go to school, because all of the other kids seemed to be very free, caring, happy. And I was worried about where we were going to sleep because we were homeless, or what we were going to have for dinner. My concerns were not my schoolwork. And so I suffered for that reason. So I was angry with other kids because their parents would, go to PTA meetings and pick them up and bake them cookies. And why couldn't I have those things? So my anger was then turned into addiction. I began using marijuana and alcohol when I was 12. By 14, I had experimented with cocaine, LSD, any kind of psychedelic that you can think of. And then I quit school at 15 because I wanted to get a job and move away, as far away from my mother as I could. And that's what I did. I got a job and I moved out. And but I was in a relationship at a young age. It was a very heavy relationship. He broke my heart. I broke down, and 25 years of substance use disorder followed. The last drug that was my drug of choice was the drug that I seeked out the most was heroin. When I started using intravenously, I knew that was it for me. That was my I've never done, and that would be the thing that would take me down. I have 2 children at that point. I decided that I needed long-term help. I found TROSA. I lived in Durham. I was very fortunate. I entered the program. I made some mistakes and I had to restart the program. So it took me 3 years to complete a 2-year program. However, the success that I've had following, I was Kevin McDonald's assistant for 8 years. He was my mentor and he has taught me so many things. And now I have moved up in the TROSA community as a staff member. 7 years I've been here, and now I'm annual gifts manager. So, and I told you about my kids, they're both doing very well. So life is good. I'm extremely grateful and happy. And I love speaking to people about addiction and about TROSA. So this has been really a good time for me. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Alicia and Demitrius. Those are very moving stories, and I congratulate you on your successes and you're working with TROSA, which is such a successful community. So we do have some time for some questions and discussions. So small group, people want to just speak up.
I was curious for both of you, if you know the reasons for people choosing to remain with TROSA or to go on the workout program. Is that more about the families they want to return to in the community, or what are the other factors driving that?
Alicia, all right. So there's many variables at play here. Some of it is because of not feeling that they're ready. Some are wanting to look to maybe be a potential staff member here one day. Some are just can't wait to get to work out and are ready just to move on from here. And and more, and it looks like it's unappreciative or just wanting to get out of here and move on from it. Okay. And then so there are lots of different factors, and it's all individual based. And then there are some where they do not so well throughout the program, but make it to 21 and do great. So there's just no science behind it. I think it's just individual and on an individual basis, depending on it.
Yeah, I agree with Demetrius.
Hi, I'm Jeff. It's been a while since I have been to TROSA. I spent the first 20 years as you guys were getting started working with you, but it's been a good 10 years since I've been back. What is the relationship, if any, between TROSA and Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous in Durham? Is there any connection at all with those 12-step fellowships?
So while individuals are in the program, there's not, but 21 months is a very pivotal point in an individual's program, because that's when they're given, either way, they're given access to a phone, which they haven't had in 21 months. They're given access to, if they're a senior resident, to be able to drive by themselves. So there's different, the earnings of being here longer, the privileges. And so at that point, individuals, if they would like to do NA or AA, they're able to go to meetings. However, of course, during COVID, we've been very restrictive on what we're able to participate in. But in a normal setting, they're able to make that decision for themselves. Now, because up until that point, the program is, our foundation is, like I said, it's behavior modification. It is becoming honest. It's becoming trustworthy. It's becoming not manipulating people for what you want. Trying to get to the core of who you are and who you want to be, and being a better person. Like every day, every night before I go to bed, I do an inventory. And it's similar to NA, but I don't practice NA, but it's just an inventory to make sure, have I harmed anybody today? Like, have I done good? And that's what we're really trying to enforce here.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels. It's such a wonderful program. What you guys do is just absolutely miraculous, and it's been wonderful to watch it grow over the last 28 years. So just thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And we're definitely not saying that, NA or AA is not like we're against it. We're totally, indifferent. We just, we don't practice that in our program.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about TROSA is like, it's non-judgmental, right? And then we're open to all, whether your sexuality is different, whether you're, your ethnicity, all that. Like, it's just
religion. It
makes it it really, it's progressive. I just look at TROSA as being progressive in all aspects, and it's just they're setting a trend, and it's just awesome. It's just a great place.
Yeah, we've made great strides at meeting people where they're at, and accommodating, as far as like, just being open to ideas and to things. But we just, we're a well-oiled machine, and what's been working for us for so many years is just, I hope we never change that.
Amir, you had a question?
Yeah, I really want to thank you, Alicia and Demitrius, for sharing your stories. I have been associated with TROSA for a long time, as you know, but every time that I hear your stories, I'm really so impressed and proud of you.
Thank you.
In a scientific sense, I don't believe in miracle, but I think TROSA is a miracle. TROSA, I think it has accomplished more than in saving lives, more than what Duke and UMC have done it. I hope the administrators are not listening, but you have done great. The question that I have, you said, TROSA has saved about $7.4 million a year for the state. Do you get any of that back from the state of North Carolina?
No.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, and just imagine if we did that study now, 2022, right? It's going to be a higher number. So, yeah.
The other question I have, how is the oldest resident that you have?
Let's see. Well, so now we had a graduate that was, and he was still part of our community, and he was like 85, I think.
Yeah.
He's since moved on, but we have individuals in their late 60s, and that's the beauty of TROSA is that, we have 18-year-olds and we have 68-year-olds, and there's that commonality is that everybody's here. They've always been searching for meaning and having some place that they felt like they belonged is what I see a lot. And that was important for me. And so that's where everything meets together, and age is not even, it doesn't even factor in. It's just about having people who have similarities and then welcoming you with open arms.
Right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you, Amir. And you know that we've got this recorded, so the administrators are probably going to hear about that statement one way or another.
I hope they hear it.
They should hear it.
Dr. Amir, I really enjoyed you in 2019 when you came and spoke in front of everybody in the gym. So I just want to let you know that.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Yes.
We're hoping we can get you back soon.
I'd like to come back, just let me know whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
That's great. Other questions, comments? I had a question about, or Walter, did you have a question?
Yeah, but you can go first.
Oh, I was just wondering in terms of, progress isn't just a straight line. I mean, people, have ups and downs. So what are your strategies as an organization in terms of, if somebody's going through a rough patch and how to pull them back?
Oh, gosh.
So you want me to break it down?
Go ahead, Demetrius.
So we have an accountability structure here, okay? And what I mean by that is, so at times when you do rule violations, you are placed into to do some accountability, what we call hours or contracts, where there's like some rules where you can't speak to other residents, or you can't while you're doing your contract, or you can't eat like whenever you want. There's break times, or things like that. You just have to do your assignment for the day, and then be in the dorm by a certain time. And then what happens if this is a continuous thing that's going on, we have another step where you'll be placed on this note, we like to call it, right? And it's a 45-day note where if you find yourself continuing to be combative and not being able to follow simple rules, you could be asked to leave the program if you commit a violation that's like a behavior violation, where it's like, this person doesn't understand or doesn't care anymore. And it's just sometimes we have to think about things in a way where we're keeping our community safe, and that they're not, rubbing off on other people, or, and things like that. That it takes a lot to get to that point. But again, we do have, a lot of things in place, and we have so many certified substance abuse counselors to bring them in, where we do a program evaluation, and we talk about the very things that are causing them troubles, and we go to lengths to try to reel them back in, and then yeah.
Absolutely. We have a lot of support here from staff to the older residents, and we're always trying to make an impact in the person, so that either, they're not just giving up, and we will talk them through a lot of steps and emotions. I know that this is going to end at 1 o'clock. So real quick, I just want to modify my statement from just a second ago. I feel really bad. So the state has given us funding for our expansion. And I want to make sure that that's documented because that wouldn't be a good note to leave on.
Yeah.
I also want to say that, make sure that your, and your students know, and, we accept donations for furniture, clothing. Our thrift store takes anything, housewares, anything that you would need for your physical self. We take car donations as a tax write-off. We, of course, take monetary donations. We're constantly, needing support from the community. So please pass that along, and just thank you so much for allowing us to share some of our information with you all.
Well, thank you so much. Walter, did you have a point?
So I'm interested in whether you have any educational programs for the people there. You've mentioned having a guest speaker, but are there any courses that are provided if people want to, engage in that kind of thing?
So we have evidence-based therapeutic groups, and we have relapse prevention, we have CBT, we have DBT. rational behavior therapy, anger management, parenting class.
I was thinking of more like English literature.
Oh, well, yeah, no, but what we do is they have, if GED, they're going to have a study program with a GED. And then also when they get a year in the program, they're allowed to submit a request if they want to go to Durham Tech and take a college course. And so that way they can evaluate like, hey, I really like this. I think I might want to go get my associates, right? So yeah, we're trying to, we've got a lot of, extensions going on, a lot of, we're like an octopus,
Well, thank you for that. And I appreciate all your work and your efforts personally and institutionally. And any way we can help, be glad to do that. And thank you so much. And have a great rest of the day then.
Thank you, Dr. Levin. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Demetrius. Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.